Welcome back to the Culture of Currency. Right here, right now, I wanted to talk to you about something that I found in an old drawer that really reminded me of the importance of this kind of stuff over time. So Austrian Stacker, if you don't know him, he's awesome. One of the best community members. He is my go-to when it comes to European markets on silver and gold and all that kind of stuff. And he inspired me with a recent video where he basically said, I told you so about fractional gold, yada, yada. Go check that out. It is a great video, but it got onto something that reminded me of something I stumbled upon. So I was in my grandfather's items a while back trying to sort things out and that type of thing, help out my dad and my grandmother. And we stumbled upon some receipts where he would travel from Louisiana to Texas to buy metals, because I guess that's just what you did back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, so on. So basically, he would go and do that, and he had a couple of the receipts over there. And just so you know, things have changed quite a bit. So this particular receipt, I believe, was from 1985, if I remember correctly. And things like this, an ounce of silver, were pretty dang cheap. It obviously was not that, because that started in the 90s, but most of the silver bullion was Sunshine Mint products. So SMIs, they were the classic rounds with the eagle, the 10 ounce, the 100 ounce bars, things like that. And he was getting them for about $6 an ounce. And that's crazy, right? Because we think about this right here. This is a 10 ounce bar of silver. This would cost us roughly $300 something today. Most places would sell something like this for $300 and probably $30 would be my guess. $330. He would be buying things like this, and it would cost him $60. Pretty crazy there. And another thing that we found out, he had some gold. And the gold, this is nuts. So this right here was $2,500. This is a gold kangaroo. And he was able to buy gold back then, walk out the door with Krugerrands, and they would be $600, $650 sometimes. And it's just nuts to think about. And that's, obviously we know about inflation. We know about those things over time and how that changes. But it does beg the question of, have you started to buy this stuff? And if you have, how much? And all that kind of stuff. Because over time, this stuff is crazy in the amount of retention it holds. Obviously, we know the commodity price changes and fluctuates all the time on these things. But just the way to kind of have your own savings account is not a bad thing to look at, because we know banks, what they do is they take your money. So let's say you have, $10,000 in a bank savings account. What they're going to do is be FDIC insured. So, up to $250,000, they got you covered, but they're going to be investing your money while it's there at the bank, right? And that money basically will go up and down, but they know how to make money a little bit, because they're one, banks, and two, their names are on the side of buildings and stadiums around the world, so they obviously know a little bit about money. But yeah, they'll invest your money and make a bit off of that investment. And so if they make, let's say, 8% gains on that investment of $10,000 in your savings account, your $10,000 is still there as it's insured to be there, but they're going to give you like 0.015% just to, bank with them. And then they keep everything on top, which is why banks expand and they have, board seats all over the place. It's just amazing. So that being said, if you had $10,000 that you bought today, let's say, and in 10 years, that $10,000 held value and exceeded value versus the weight of the dollar, then you're probably going to see similar gains as what the bank saw, with the exception of you made all the money. Now, obviously, you have to sell if you're wanting to touch that money, and there are different things based on state law that you would incur. So know where you live and know what the laws are there. But it's just interesting. Why let banks make all the money off of you when you can basically do the same thing. If I were to need a couple $1,000s to get by on the month, then maybe I go and sell one of these things. Give me the money I need to get by, right? Now, you probably don't want to do that too heavily, because buying and selling right now, as it's not a gold standard that our money's on, you do lose a couple percentages every single time you change hands, depending on if you're the seller or the buyer. So that being said, it is something to think about as a long-term savings account, kind of like a CD, where you're locked in and you have 4% over 5 years where your money is locked. It's just something to think about. So that's something that popped into my head. I thought it was interesting. I want to know what you think, though. So let me know in the comments what you think on that. Stay classy and current with the culture of currency.